You know that feeling, right? When you're trying to get your head around something new and it just feels like information overload.
Oh, definitely, like staring at a wall of text.
Exactly. You can't quite see the clear path through it all.
Ah.
Well, that's what we try to fix here. Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through the sources to pull out the core ideas for you.
And today we're tackling something really foundational, not just for business, but honestly for lots of interactions in life. The fundamentals of effective selling.
That's it. We've been digging into understanding fundamentals of effective selling, key to consumer choice and market dynamics by Nisha Duor over at Cognitive Market Research.
It's a really insightful piece.
It is. And our mission today is basically to boil down those core principles, what really makes selling work into something practical you can use no matter what you do. Think of it as a shortcut to the essentials.
And it's important, I think, to start by saying effective selling isn't just pushing things on people.
Right.
As the research highlights, it's much more about, understanding the other person and building some real trust.
Okay, let's unpack that core idea first. Why should someone listening, maybe they're not even in sales, why should they care about these fundamentals? What's the real benefit?
Well, the cognitive market research work really stresses that understanding these basics helps sales teams do the most crucial thing. Figure out and actually address what customers genuinely need or want.
So it's about hitting the nail on the head.
Precisely. When you work from those principles, you're just in a much better position to offer something that's actually relevant.
And I imagine the impact on, the number is pretty direct. Better conversion rates, more revenue, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. It's logical, sure, but the research confirms it. Higher conversion rates, better revenue streams, it follows.
Yeah.
And with that fundamental grasp, salespeople can kind of move past the generic script. They can actually tailor their conversations, personalize how they present things, and really clearly explain the benefits in a way that clicks with that specific customer.
But it's not just about getting that first yes, is it? The paper seems to put a lot of weight on the long game.
Oh, completely. A huge goal here is building lasting relationships with customers. It's all about fostering trust and loyalty.
Which leads to...
Well, that's the foundation for repeat business and, crucially, for referrals. Happy customers who trust you. They come back and they tell others. That's gold.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it sounds like these fundamentals also help the whole sales team work better together, like more consistently.
Exactly. It gives them a kind of disciplined framework. So the whole team is better at anticipating customer questions or, handling concerns effectively.
Okay.
And it also means using data smartly. We'll get more into that later, and even providing good support after the sale is made.
So the big picture here is that really getting these fundamentals helps salespeople just perform better, hit their targets, and, really contribute to the company's overall success. It's like the engine driving it all.
That's a great way to put it. Now, maybe we should dive into one of those key parts, the power of knowing your product or service inside out.
Right. Product knowledge seems obvious, maybe. But the research suggests it goes deeper than just listing features. It's about credibility.
It really is. And what's interesting is how that deep knowledge lets a salesperson properly address what the customer actually needs.
How so?
Well, they can explain not just what it does, but the actual benefits, how it helps the customer, and what makes it different. Its unique selling points.
Like if a customer thinks it's too complicated.
Exactly. Someone with deep knowledge can tackle that head on, explain it clearly, maybe give a simple example. It counters the misconception.
And when customers have those inevitable questions or maybe doubts,
that expertise means you can answer quickly and confidently. That really reassures people about the quality, the reliability of what you're offering, builds trust.
And that knowledge is also the key to personalization, isn't it?
Absolutely. Knowing the product thoroughly lets you connect its specific benefits directly to that customer situation, their challenges, their pain points.
And moving from a generic pitch to something super relevant, that must make a huge difference.
It's massive. And like the research points out, that personalization doesn't just make a sale more likely, it seriously boosts customer satisfaction, too.
Because they feel understood.
Precisely. They see how it solves their problem. Plus, in a busy market, that product knowledge is how you stand out. You can clearly articulate your unique value, why you're the better choice compared to competitors.
Okay, so deep product knowledge is definitely step one. But knowing your product is only half the battle if you don't get who you're talking to. Which brings us to customer needs. Why are they just paramount?
This is really ground zero for effective selling, isn't it? Understanding those needs lets you shift from just showing off a product to actually offering a solution, something tailored to their specific wants or problems.
And you can't just guess what those are. The research really pushes active listening, right?
Yeah.
Engaging properly to figure out their difficulties, their real needs.
Yes, it's about truly hearing them, sometimes reading between the lines too. What are they not quite saying?
Hmm.
And what's really key is the connection this builds. When customers feel like you genuinely get them, they feel valued. And that makes them much more open to buying.
It's that feeling of being seen, acknowledged.
Exactly. Think about maybe asking why a few times. You can uncover needs they didn't even realize they had.
And understanding those needs must also make handling objections way easier.
Oh, definitely. If you understand the reason behind their hesitation, you can address that specific root cause in the conversation. It's much more effective than some generic response.
Right, a tailored answer, not a script.
Precisely. And ultimately, if your pitch aligns perfectly with their needs, you're ensuring the solution offers real value. And that, as we said, builds happiness, builds loyalty, leads to repeat business, recommendations. It all connects.
It's not about tricking anyone, it's about finding the right fit.
That's it. Now, having all this understanding product, customer needs a way to be conveyed, right? And that's where effective communication slots in.
Yeah, absolutely. Strong communication skills are the bridge, really. They allow for that meaningful, persuasive chat with customers. It's got to be a two-way street.
What's particularly interesting is how clear, articulate communication helps you frame the value proposition, the what's in it for them, in a way that connects directly with their specific interests or needs.
So if they care about saving time, you focus on efficiency benefits.
Exactly. You tailor the message.
Because you could have the best thing since sliced bread,
Yeah.
but if you can't explain why it's great for them clearly, well, you're stuck. The research notes how effective communication makes it easier for them to see the value and decide.
And we absolutely have to talk about active listening here. It's so much more than just pausing until you can talk again. It's critical. It helps you really grasp objections, answer questions properly, and give responses that actually fit the situation.
It keeps the whole thing focused on the customer. By truly listening, you can adjust your approach on the fly, build that rapport, earn trust, because you're showing you understand where they're coming from.
Yes. And ultimately, good communication builds stronger relationships. Talking with empathy, with respect, that creates a positive experience. That drives the satisfaction and loyalty we keep coming back to. It fosters those lasting connections.
So it feeds itself, in a way. Good communication leads to strong relationships, and as our next point highlights, those relationships are just essential for long-term sales success.
Yeah, relationship building really goes beyond just the sale itself. It's about creating genuine rapport, a solid foundation of trust with customers, both current ones and potential ones.
It's like investing time in the connection itself, building that mutual respect that lasts way beyond the transaction.
And when you have that kind of relationship, you gain a much deeper insight into their specific needs, their preferences, their challenges, everything we've been talking about, which then lets you make your presentations even more relevant.
Because people naturally prefer to buy from someone they feel actually understands them, right? Someone who seems genuinely invested in helping them. It's that human connection.
It really is. And those strong relationships, they are a huge engine for long-term growth. Happy, valued customers. They come back and they tell their friends, referrals happen.
That word of mouth effect is so powerful, isn't it? It can really boost your network, your reputation.
Absolutely. And there's another benefit. Strong relationships give you incredibly valuable feedback. You learn about customer behavior, what they like, what they don't. That helps you improve your products, your strategies. It's a constant learning loop.
So building relationships basically transforms selling from just an exchange in more of a partnership. That's how you get a loyal base and sustainable growth.
Couldn't have said it better. Now, to take all this, the understanding, the relationships to the next level, the research underscores the critical role of using data and analytics.
Ah, okay. So moving beyond just intuition and gut feelings.
Exactly. Data gives you those actionable insights you need to really fine-tune your sales strategies.
How does that work in practice?
Well, by digging into sales figures, looking at market trends, analyzing customer behavior, you start seeing patterns, opportunities that maybe weren't obvious before.
Like what kind of things might you uncover?
The research gives examples like identifying your best-selling products, or figuring out which types of customers are actually the most profitable, or even seeing which specific sales tactics are getting the best results.
Okay, so you can see what's actually working.
Right. And that lets you focus your energy and resources much more effectively. Aim for those high-value targets. Make changes based on facts, not just guesses.
And it helps with that personalization aspect too, I imagine.
Definitely. You can use data to segment customers, group them based on their buying habits, their preferences, how they've engaged before. Then you can tailor your outreach much more precisely,
And that targeted approach is more likely to resonate, address their specific needs.
which boosts your conversion rates. It all ties together.
Plus, analytics can help with looking ahead, forecasting trends, setting realistic goals.
Yes, that's crucial for planning resources properly, managing expectations within the team and the wider organization.
And tracking how things are going.
Absolutely. Data lets you monitor performance using key performance indicators, or KPIs. Things like, say, how much it costs to acquire a new customer, or how many customers you're losing over time.
So you can see if your strategies are actually working and where you might need to tweak things.
Exactly. It keeps you grounded in market reality, aligned with what customers actually want. So data and analytics really empower you to make smarter decisions, streamline your efforts, and get better results. Takes out a lot of the guesswork.
It really does. And speaking of effectiveness, there's a really interesting fast fact in the research.
Oh yes, the conversation time statistic.
Right. It says that highly successful salespeople spend about 54% of their time in actual conversation during sales interactions. Compare that to only around 42% for less productive salespeople.
That's quite a gap.
It is. What do you think that tells us? What's the key takeaway there?
Well, I think it strongly suggests that effective selling is much less about just talking at someone, delivering a monologue.
Or a hard sell.
Right. And much more about genuine dialogue. That extra time in conversation probably reflects spending more effort on really understanding the customer's needs, properly listening to what they're saying, and building that vital rapport we discussed.
So it underlines that selling isn't just presenting information.
It's fundamentally about understanding. The listening part is huge.
Definitely makes you think about that talk-listen balance in any interaction where you're trying to connect, really.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the fundamentals of effective selling, it's really clear that success isn't just about being good at one thing, is it?
Not at all. Is how all these pieces fit together. They're interconnected.
Yeah.
Product knowledge gives you the what's. Understanding customer needs tells you why and for whom. Effective communication is the how you connect. Relationship building creates the trust. And data acts like your guide, helping you refine everything.
And the core message, reinforced by Dior's research, seems to be that successful selling isn't fundamentally about the transaction itself.
No, it's about delivering real value, building that solid trust, and nurturing relationships for the long haul, creating a positive outcome for the customer.
Which leads us to a final thought for you listening. Thinking about these core pillars, product knowledge, customer understanding, communication, relationships, and using data, maybe consider which one of those areas might be most valuable for you to focus on developing further.
Yeah, that's a great question because whether you're officially in sales or not, these principles apply anytime you need to connect, persuade, or just build understanding with someone else. They're incredibly useful insights for almost any interaction.
Definitely food for thought. At its heart, it's about effective human connection. Thanks for diving deep with us today.